Good morning. Musical mornings with Rock Island Sound in conjunction with Westchester Children's Museum. So I just lost my picture of me, so there we are. I'd like to remind you all that we've got a couple more weeks of these musical mornings. Tomorrow we will have Rachel doing voice. Monday it'll be Andrew, violin. Tuesday Rachel again. Wednesday Noah, and Thursday myself. So today we're going to go over chord embellishments and what basically does that mean. So for you little guys, like embellishment might be if you go to the ice cream store, if you still can, and you get a cone of ice cream, whatever flavor you want, then you have put little, like say sprinkles or chocolates or whatever little candy cut type things on top. You're kind of embellishing that ice cream cone. You're making it a little bit special just for you, and you're adding something to something that's already pretty good. Okay? So I know we've gone over chords. Chords strung together, chords in a row, make what we call a progression. And you could play things pretty straight ahead. Like I'm going to play you 3 chords here. It's A minor chord, so it has kind of a darkish sound. And then I'm going to play a C chord, which is very much related to the A minor chord. They share 2 notes, like 2 keys on the piano. They're the same keys in both of these chords, A minor and C major. They share the same key signature, which is a technical written way. If you read music over to the far left, they give you some information to help you play the song correctly. Well, both C and A minor have the identical key signature, which is no sharps, no flats. Then the next chord I'm going to play here is a G chord. And a G chord is a 5 chord in the key of C. So I don't want to get too technical, but if you take the letter C and you count up 5 letters of the alphabet, and you little guys should be able to do this: C, D, E, F, and G. G is what we call a 5 chord because it is 5 letter names above the first chord, which we call the root chord, because the key that we're playing in, the tonality, is based off of that chord. So if I just strum these 3 chords together, like so we go A minor to C to G. You play the G twice as long. If I just strum through these chords, they sound good together because they are in the same key signature. And saying in the same key signature means it's kind of like the same family, like they get along together. Okay, so it's a group of chords that will work together. A minor, C to G. Now, as nice as that harmony is, and remember our 5 parameters: rhythm, pitch, which is harmony, color, articulation, dynamics. We want to try to incorporate all of those in whatever we play as soon as possible, because it's going to be a lot more fun to play the guitar if you're making music as opposed to just going through the motions. Okay? So I'm going to play this again for you. So not much there, but if I change it up, if I add a bass note to each of these chords, and I change the little strumming pattern, it sounds a lot more interesting. Let me try that again. One measure A, minor, one of C, two of G. And obviously there'll be vocals on top of this. So we're trying to set a nice accompaniment that's not too plain, but uses simple, common chords that a lot of guitar players, beginning guitar players, can play. And then you want to build off of that. It's anything that you learn in life, you want to build off of what you know and add to it. So let me just do this one more time, and I'm going to add something else. So now I added what we call a riff or a lick. Because remember, I know I'm going over the same chords, but that's kind of what you do in a song. You'll play the same chords or the same harmony, again, even with classical music like Beethoven and Mozart, but they'll just change the melody a little bit. So in your ear, you should hear A minor to C to G. And then the next thing I do is I add a bass line. So it's like two voices. Lick feels the void. And if I can sing this at all this morning, you'll see there's an opening there where I play that riff. So it's bass, and I can play a different bass note from the G chord. So the one time goes to the root, which is that G. The next time I'm playing the third, which is just the fifth string as opposed to the sixth. I put in a different little fill and it keeps it moving. The one thing in music, if you play the exact same thing over and over and over again, or even just try to play the exact same thing over and over and over again, it doesn't really go anywhere. It doesn't sound interesting to the listeners. It's not moving forward. And trust me, music has to move through time. That's why rhythm is so important, because without rhythm, nothing moves through time. Nothing happens. Okay? So let me embellish this just one more time and then we'll go to a different song. This song is called Please, by the way. So you can see how that grew into a rhythmic pattern that is hopefully interesting to the listener. And especially with lyrics on top of that, you're mostly going to listen to the lyrics anyway, but if you have a really cool accompaniment, it just makes it better. This is true for any songwriting, and I suggest that any of you guys who are interested in playing guitar, please check out Rock Island Sound. I think they're actually having sales this weekend on Cadoba guitars. I'm not sure exactly what the brands are. But you start simple, and then you just build off of that. You learn your chord shapes. This is part of playing the guitar. And then you build from that. Okay, so that's one example of embellishment off of a simple idea, how to make it more musical, more interesting. And it's technically not that difficult. This isn't like I have to play every single note on the guitar super fast. This is just nice, setting up a background for you to sing a song. Okay, so let's switch gears to another song. This is a song called Blind Blake. No, it's by Blind Blake. It's called the West Coast Blues, and it's basically a ragtime tune. And I will just play it, a little bit of it for you. First section. So it's kind of upbeat. It's taken from a piano piece. It has a bass line and a melody line. It has all of that going on. So that's an okay tempo for a ragtime. Remember, you would dance to this. But I decided, you know what? Everybody who knows this song pretty much plays it straight ahead. And I really like to change time signatures in songs. So time signature, what is that? That's the rhythmic feel. It's how you might count the music. Rhythm is the number one parameter. So if we took this 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, we are in 4. What if I took that and put it into 3, like a slow 3 or 6/8? So we have to totally change the rhythmic feel. The notes, the pitches will be almost identical. The dynamics could be the same. Remember, I'm using these terms: how loud, how soft, just the general feel of it. So look, if we do this in 3, it's not going to be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. It will be bum, dum, bum. So it'll be triplet, dum, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3. Kind of messed that up, so let's try it again. 1, 2, 3, 2. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. Back to the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. And so on. So it has a completely different rhythmic feel but a lot of the musical components are the same, like pitch. And everybody, see, not everybody, but a lot of musicians, their priority is on pitch. Pitch is nice, pitch is important, but there's only so many pitches. Rhythms are endless. The way you can articulate and color what you're doing, depending you're playing back here or up here. Has a different sound. So whatever song you're wanting to play, whether this is like on the flute, trumpet, just singing, you want to be able to change these things up, to think musically, think a little bit outside the box. But the one thing that you cannot fool around with, so to speak, is rhythm. You're playing in the band, like the Rock Island Summer Band, you could hit a wrong note, it's no big deal. You mess up the rhythm, everybody's going to know. So let me just do a quick demo of this again, and we'll move on to another song. So quickly, it's... goes to the next section. That's quick. Here is completely different feel, different time signature, different emotional value. So that's Blind Blake's West Coast Blues. Most people play it in a raggy, fast, quick tempo. I prefer to actually play it in two parts. I will play it in three, where it's very slow and emotional and melodic, and then I switch over to the faster ragtime part, and that's when everybody gets up off the tables and starts to dance. Okay, so there's two songs. We've got a little bit more time here. So I'm going to go to another song that hopefully a lot of you guys know. My Guitar Gently Weeps. So here's your chords, and there's tons of great videos. I suggest the one with Tom Petty and Prince. So it's A minor. Let's see if I can remember this. It's A minor with the G bass, D to F, to A minor, to G, to D, to E. So you don't need to memorize those chords. Hopefully you'll remember the song. But if I was just to strum through this, like, again, if you check out that Tom Petty Prince video. Most of them are just strumming through these basic chords. You've got a piano player who's playing a bass line. You've got a bass player who's playing a bass line. But we're a solo guitar player, and we don't have a band with us right now. So we want to try to make it more interesting, more fun, and whatever we're doing as a solo guitar player, we'll transfer over into a band, an ensemble setting. So one of the things is, if you remember the song, it has the piano beginning up with octaves, like dun, 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 dun. Okay, well, we don't have that, but we can play the bass line, so. So right there, it sounds more like the song. I'm playing the same chords I played before, but I'm picking out a bass line to accompany myself. I'll do it one more time for you. So we had chord progression, we had the chord progression with the bass. I can change the bass line to be more interesting by doubling the notes, which is what he does in the song. I can do now is bring in kind of a melody. So let me see if I can get that going for you. We're just adding layers up, layers of musicality. And this is how you learn any instrument. You start with something basic, something simple that you have a good rhythmic grasp of, and then you start adding. You might, number one, add pitches, meaning add notes that you're going to play. Number two, how loud, how soft, dynamics, articulation, how do you attack the note on the guitar, slide, hammer on, pull off, and color. So depending if you're playing back here or up here, if this is electric guitar, you will have tone knobs. So let me see if I can get through this. I haven't played it in a while, and I will try to get a little melody in with the bass. I'm going to go through each one. Just chords. Here we go with everything. So you could keep adding different things to that. I was a little sloppy with that, but you get the idea. That start, if you're just a beginning player, you're playing some chords, fool around with what you're doing. Initially, you want to get nice, clean sounding chords. But eventually, you are going to add little embellishments to make the chords fit better to the song that you would like to play. And that's a very important part of music. And when I say part of music, I'm referring to non-classical music. If you're playing Bach, Mozart, any of the musical greats, okay, that music is written out and all the information is on the page to help you play it correctly. You'll be in a key signature. Your rhythmic tempo markings will be in there. Your phrasing will be in there. Your articulation. The color, whether it's a piano, whether you're muting the keys of the piano, whether you're touching staccato notes. All that stuff is written out for you, or should be written out and followed in classical type music. Romantic, classical, whatever. Bach, Beethoven, Mozart. Even in my music, my violin concerto, everything is written out. I could just give that to an orchestra and they should be able to play it exactly like I heard it. Rock and roll, folk music, more, I don't want to even say simple music, but when you're creating music yourself, well, you have to start somewhere, and that usually is chord shapes that you have to memorize, your hands to go to certain shapes and positions. That comes with sheer repetition. Learning music, unless you're an absolute prodigy genius and pick up the instrument and it goes like that. But look, I practice every day to stay on top of what I'm doing. I learn stuff every day, and it should be fun. So remember, when you have to practice your instrument, it shouldn't be like, Mom, I got to go play guitar now. No, it should be, hey Mom, I'm going to go practice. I'll see you in a half hour. That kind of thing. You want to look forward to practicing. You want to get excited about it, because hopefully you're excited to play the musical instrument. And the more work that you put in to learn to play the instrument, the more you will get out of it, the more creativity you will be able to use in your playing, which is what this lesson was about, how to take simple chords and become more creative and make more exciting music, or at least get your idea of the music to sound more like the song that you are playing. Remember, if you are in a band, that's one thing. And you should, if you want to play in a band ensemble, definitely contact Rock Island Sound. They've got workshops, summer classes, they've got all kinds of stuff for you. But if you're a solo artist, which is primarily what I am, particularly now in this lockdown situation, thank God I play all the fingerstyle stuff, because that enables me to play a melody and an inner voice and a bass line and all these things at the same time. We are done. Very simple progression. Rachel tomorrow morning. I will see you next week. please stay safe, wear your mask, social distancing, wash your hands. This thing isn't going to go away unless we make it go away. Take care and have a great day.